Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Wow, we got a live studio audience over there.
Oh no.
Yeah. You're gonna be cheering the whole time? Hi everyone, welcome to Room and Board. My name's Chris George, and today I have a very special guest with me. Why don't you introduce yourself, Reed?
I am Reed Mascola, aspiring game designer. No, game designer
Game
now,
designer,
I guess.
not aspiring.
Yeah.
Reed is the acclaimed game designer, acclaimed by me. And honestly, my opinion is the only one that's mattered ever in the board game space, at least. And so Reed is the designer of Vigilante, which was the first video on this channel that I did.
Yes.
Reed graciously lent me a copy and entrusted me to make a video review and whatever, and it's good because I like the game, so obviously it was going to be positive. So.
Obviously, it brought a lot of subscribers to you.
It did. I think Reed can take full success, full claim for any success Room and Board happens. I think it is entirely in Reed's hands. So right now, Reed and I were at just like a fun weekend getaway with a bunch of friends, just playing games. Kadri-Con. I've talked about it on this channel before. We decided to do it again because it was so much fun. But Reed also reached out to me and he was like, hey, I actually got 3 different prototypes in for various games that he's in various stages of testing, right? Some more than others. Yeah. And he said, would you want to do an unboxing video? And I thought, yeah, that would be really cool. So I thought it would be cool. So we're going to sort of unbox this and talk about the design process. You can give a little bit about the games, and then what stage of development they're at, and also your experience with prototypes as well, and what when you feel like you want to get things printed and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that's an interesting discussion. I didn't bring 2 cameras because it's a relaxed board game weekend, okay? So we're gonna just probably do a top-down and then just have a discussion about the components, and maybe if we're done showing components, we'll switch back to this angle and talk about some things. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
and,
me too. There's some weird stuff in this box.
I might have to do some editing. But maybe late night Kadri-Con. some late night Kadri-Con. We'll see what happens. This video may never be aired. We'll see. All right, let's switch up the camera and let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Cut away from your address.
Oh, look, it's just a bunch of paper.
It's just a bunch of paper.
Oh,
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the acclaimed paper ball.
Paper Ball Island.
Yeah, what we didn't mention is that Reed is a designer for cat games. That's his main forte. But he's branched out into
games
humans.
that appeal to cats.
Yeah, yeah, he's branched out into humans. All right, let's get this paper out of the way.
Yeah.
And then why don't you talk us through which games are for which? So you got 3 in here.
This is from Game Crafter,
okay, cool.
which is a prototyping company. Basically, I've been working with it since the beginning.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of games here. We've got probably the furthest along, which is Vigilante Hidden Motives.
Nice.
Which
will be coming to Kickstarter along with a reprint of Vigilante at some point.
Exactly.
Sometime next year. Yeah, let's get them all out of the box, and then we'll put them on the table, and then we'll get this big box out of the way.
A really terrible name that I'm definitely rethinking this, but Creature Capers.
Cool.
Which is a fun little creature deck building game. And then the weirdest of all.
Oh, Step Off. Yeah, I was wondering, I was going to ask you, but I wanted to ask you on camera if this is your foot game. I like your foot game. I think your foot game sounds fun. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got Vigilante, Hidden Motives, Step Off, and Creature Capers. Let's do, so yeah, why don't you say what level each one is?
Yeah, so Vigilante Hidden Motives, definitely the furthest along. Essentially all the artwork is final. I would say the cards, the abilities, everything is about 95% there. So it's already actually going out to reviewers.
Cool.
So Hidden Motives pretty much ready to go. There's a few things that aren't in the box, like the 3D first player marker.
Cool.
But good to go. Whereas I would say Step Off and Creature Capers are about at the same, maybe Creature Capers a little further along. And this is actually my first time getting Step Off printed. I got some AI artwork that we'll kind of talk about a little bit. It's a very weird game, very light.
What's in the earliest stage of development? We'll go from earliest to latest.
Let's start with Step Off.
Let's start with Step
the earliest.
Off.
So actually, this one,
so
I'll give a little
crack it
backstory on this.
Yeah,
one.
you talk and I'll crack it open. That feels
Sounds
like
great.
a good balance.
So I was at
gonna struggle with this forever.
yeah, I was at Protospiel North, which is a game design convention, and towards the end of the game design convention, they had a bunch of bits on the table,
Yeah.
unwanted bits, and one of those things, actually many of those things, were these little feet, these little wooden feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody wants these feet. I need to do something with them. So there are about 50 of them. I gathered them all up. I sorted through all of the bits, and I was like, I'm going to make a game out of this.
And we see a bunch of wooden feet here.
I just bought some more,
you
yeah.
just bought some more. So you bought that. This is interesting. Yeah. In terms of the packing process,
Yeah.
they just like, it's a prototype, but
Oh, yeah.
it looks so, this looks like really far along
Yeah.
in the development. And I know you in particular like
Like beautiful games.
Beautiful games.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know you in particular like because Yuval, who's also been on the channel,
Mhm.
I feel like maybe I should switch this to you and I, and we just hold the components up. Hey?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's do it because I feel like it's going to just be more
Yeah.
discussion. And
Yeah,
that's,
for sure.
That's a bit more interesting, and then we'll just hold it up to go
Mhm.
front view. We're going to switch the camera up so that you can see us because I need more attention. Okay, we're back because we want the attention. I want the attention. And because this is going to be more like a discussion style,
Mhm.
right? So I think what I was saying as we look at these, we look at these little foot bits, these little things, they're so funny. Like I love that. Well, two things. I love that it was just a component that was the inspiration for this,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like, this is funny.
Yeah.
This is a funny thing. What can I do with this funny thing, right?
Exactly.
Like, that feels like a cool design decision.
Mhm.
And then what I was going to say is that you mentioned that you did some AI art for this.
Mhm.
And I know specifically you
Mhm.
like to have art in your
Mhm.
prototypes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yuval, who we went to Origins with, that you will have seen read on the channel in our like Origins discussion. If you want to go check that out, feel free. Yuval's also another sort of budding designer. I like Reed better because he's been on more videos, clearly. But I know specifically with like Yuval's prototypes, he doesn't go for art,
not at all
whatsoever.
Not
right?
at all.
So why do you like the art? And because I know it's kind of important to you as like a melding, and maybe talk about where the art impacts your design process and how that's how that's it, like where it fits in, like, because you saw the component, and like the component is that sort of inspiration, right? And I suppose it's not really a piece of art, but like it's a physical thing that's like, okay, I've got an idea for this thing.
Well, I think a lot of it is that my enjoyment of board games, a lot of it is driven by theme.
Yeah.
And when you've got printed out paper with words on it, it's not as exciting to me. So I think, for instance, Yuval and I have a different threshold of when we want to kind of move forward with something. And also another thing that Yuval does that I might do at some point. Is he's more focused on pitching. And to pitch a game, you don't need to have all that art ready to go, because the publisher is going to take it over and they're going to add their own art. But if I'm publishing my own game, of course I need to move forward with art.
Which you have done with Vigilante,
Exactly.
and what you will be doing with Vigilante Hidden Motives moving forward.
Exactly.
Right? That's interesting too. Yeah, from a self-publishing avenue versus like, I'm going to pitch it, I'm going to reach out to someone. If someone takes it, great. Then we can move forward with that aspect. If somebody doesn't, well, then I'll just try to work on something else, right? Until somebody does bite on it. That's cool. So what about this? So why don't you describe this game? Give us the pitch of this game. We jumped ahead.
It's a bidding game where you're bidding on comfort items for your feet.
I think that's very.
So
funny.
we've got and this is AI art. We talked a little bit about AI art. I think that AI art has a great place in the early stages of prototyping.
Yeah.
I still personally believe it's better to go with a real artist. I mean, definitely there's quite a bit of a distinction between real art and AI art, and I have seen some very impressive AI art, don't get me wrong. But I also think it's important to support the artist community. And
that's cool.
But yeah, so you can see here, I mean, we've got like the red carpet, we've got stilts, we've got a footstool, we got high heels. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, give me that high heat. I'm sorry, I take back everything you said about real artists. Give me that ooh la la sensation, girl. That's what I want. Or the ooh ah ah sensation. That's money card.
And I don't know if you've seen the back, but we got a
Amazing.
yes. So what you're trying to do in this game is accumulate prizes. Prizes have victory points. And there's a basically everyone has a screen that they're bidding behind. So you go around, you can either bid or pass.
Yeah.
If you pass, as other players bid, they're giving you their feet, which feet in this game is currency.
Cool.
So feet is
yes, I love
feet are king in this game.
I'm obsessed with the theme of this game. I really am, and then I'm also obsessed with the take on it that you've been lopping off other people's feet and are passing them around as currency as well. I'm obsessed with both sides of this potential. The potential comedy that ensues in this.
Yes.
That's funny. And so you're giving players your feet. So it's like it's like that exchange of. So you can spend a lot of feet for something, but then somebody else gets it.
Exactly.
I like that.
And the thing that makes this maybe a little bit more unique than a typical kind of bidding game is that all of these lovely feat things have abilities.
Cool.
Generally once per use
Fun.
abilities.
Yeah.
Or one time per game, but they let you kind of manipulate things in the game, which is fun.
Fun, yeah. That's it. It's just like a simple bidding game, but like I don't know. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, sure.
I remember you talking about your foot game, and I didn't remember anything about it other than these components.
Yes.
I didn't remember anything about it other than this. So it's like
it's the best part about the game. Let's be honest.
It's the foot game.
Yeah.
Step off.
Step off.
That's funny. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on then to creature.
Yes. Creature capers.
Creature capers.
Yeah, no, it's not a great name.
Not to be confused with creature comforts.
Yes.
We got creature capers. Why don't you tell me about this game and
Yeah.
I'll open it up and just like hold some things up to the game.
So creature capers is the ultimate monster taming deck builder game.
Oh, so it's Pokemon.
No.
So it's Pokemon.
No. You can just maybe let's take a look at the artwork on the side of the box. So this is just a couple of the creatures that are in there. So this is all AI art.
This is AI art as well.
It's
cool.
I mean, pretty cool. I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. This is the first game where I've used the Game Crafters foil cards.
Oh, cool. Have you seen them yet?
So in my last iteration, yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
But now you will all see them.
So what this is? So Step Off was this is the first time you've had something like printed and delivered to you for this game because you were just working with feet before.
Yes,
hacking off people's feet.
Actually, fun story. I was using Vigilante screens.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
But now I've got real foot screens.
Now you got foot screens.
Yes.
And then so this one you said so this is the second iteration. So this is the
second time I printed it with Game Crafters.
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And what changes have you made, and why have you made a second printing? Like what was that sort of process?
So a couple of changes that I made. One of the biggest changes I made was, and it's still untested and should be interesting to see.
Oh, nice. And it's just a bunch of cards.
Just a bunch of cards.
Just a bunch of cards.
Deck builder.
Yeah, deck builder cards. Nice.
So in the first iteration of it, I had basically other tamers that you had to fight, and if you got a certain amount of victory points from beating those tamers, then you won the game. In this one, I actually have showdown cards that are basically in the different decks, and the showdown cards will force you to fight the other players with what's in your hand.
Cool. So it really makes it a battler. How many players can play this?
So I think I've got it right now up to 4, but really it can go higher.
Yeah.
There's no limitation there.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was just like going to be a 2-player game at all either. If that's when.
Yeah. So with the showdown, basically yours are attacking the player to your left.
Yeah.
Theirs are attacking the player to their left.
Oh,
so you're all doing it simultaneously. It's basically you're programming your, like, whether it's 3 or 4 creatures.
Cool.
And you're flipping them over.
Cool.
And then you get victory points for beating the player
The
to your
player
left.
to your, so like all the attacks are going to
Mhm.
some, and then your defenses are going another way.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was wondering if you would choose or what the choosing mechanic is,
Mhm.
but it's just always set. And there's obviously no player elimination then because otherwise you couldn't. Well, I guess they would just be eliminated in pack, but like player elimination kind of.
Yeah.
How do you feel about player elimination? It depends on the game, right?
If the game's quick enough, it's not so bad.
If the game's
like
quick,
Love Letter.
yeah.
But
Or coup, right?
yeah, and I mean, Werewolf is an interesting one because I do enjoy Werewolf,
Mhm.
but when you're eliminated first, it's not the greatest feeling in the world. So
yeah, because you're a big Werewolf fan.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say social deduction is like your favorite
absolutely
thing, right?
Yeah.
This is cool. I'm just gonna go up to
Yeah.
the camera and
Yeah,
just show
for
some
sure.
of show some of this as.
I got
as-
some foil ones too. I don't know
Oh
if they're-
yeah. Get those out, and then I'll.
Yeah.
This works out very well.
These ones? Yeah, these ones. Here's the foil one.
The foil ones. So what would the purpose? Oh, these are all the scratches. So you would obviously start with that in your deck.
Mhm.
Cool. Foil ones. Oh yeah, look how shiny. Ooh. And so the foil just gives. Are you hoping to like emulate that like trading card feel? Because I know foil plays a decent amount in like Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean,
Not that this is
for
Pokemon.
me, I'm not
Definitely
gonna
not
lie. I
Ekans.
just love I get distracted by shiny objects, and I think what I ended up doing actually is making kind of the
I like that
legendary or the, yes.
Goat Terror.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll keep interrupting you, but you Stabby Fuzz.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
very funny.
The names aren't the greatest, but
Are you kidding me? Stabby Fuzz
Stabby
cannot
Fuzz?
change.
You like? Okay,
Stabby
I'll
Fuzz
keep
cannot
that one.
change.
I'll keep that one. I think Nom Noms is probably the best one.
Anger
name-wise.
Coon.
What's that?
The Anger Coon
Yes,
instead of the Raccoon.
yes.
That's funny. Oh, cool. I mean, the AI art is getting. This is all AI art.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Well, and that makes like. I mean, they look really good, honestly. But that makes it so much more affordable too. To
Oh
like,
yeah.
Because I think also, and this is a question I have for you as well, is have you ever found that if you were to invest in art beforehand, because I know like Vigilante was like your number one, you worked on it for like a long time.
I went straight to artists.
Straight to artists,
yeah.
straight artists. There wasn't the AI art,
Right.
really wasn't a thing, right? Because when did you start working on Vigilante?
5 years before it was released.
Right?
So
Yeah, and it was
definitely
released
wasn't
like
a thing.
20. When was Kickstarter? 2019, 2020? No, it would have been when I started the channel, so a year and a half ago, like March.
Yeah,
March 2021.
2021. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I know for that, like you went straight to artists, and I also know that you've shown me some art pieces that like you haven't used, right?
Yeah.
Like that look good, but you were just like, it's not like the right fit. So I think it's cool. It's cool that you still are able to have that like separation. You're not like, because my worry would be, oh man, I've spent so much money on this art, like. And now I want Vigilante to be a Pokemon game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
How do you pivot, and how do you when do you make that like call,
Like whether to go through with
whether
it?
to go through with it in terms of like theme and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's why I actually really pursued Vigilante was because I already had a stake in it.
Yeah,
And you're right. I mean, with these games, of course, I've got some attachment to them.
Of course,
but
yeah.
if they end up not being like if for some reason playtesting feedback is just that they're not worth, like, there's nothing
I'm sorry.
amazing about it.
Playtesting feedback will never be that.
Yeah.
At least for Step Off.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I will fund this thing entirely on my own to make sure Step Off happens. I mean, I mean, obviously a Pokemon battle is fun, but give me. I'm not saying I have a foot fetish here, but if I did, I would be okay with it as well, and it wouldn't be wrong. And stop kink shaming me, YouTube. Okay, I'm never gonna do that to you. So. Give you those high heels, ooh la la. Okay,
Ooh la la. Yes, I mean, I think for Step Off and for Creature Capers, I still haven't made the decision whether I want to publish it myself or pitch it.
Right.
I'm leaning kind of more towards pitching for both of them because neither of them is social deduction. I
Yeah.
mean, there is hidden information in Step Off,
Yeah.
but I think that they don't necessarily fit well within the brand of Paranoia Rising Games.
Right.
But
And that's
I
what
think that
Vigilante
they're
is,
both a
like,
lot of
published
fun.
under.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool too. I think that's also cool that, like, if you're not sure if you're gonna go through with it,
Mhm.
we'll pay for some damn art.
Yeah,
And then you've got a stake, right? Like, you got skin in the game. You're like, okay, no, I'm really committed to making this work
Mhm.
and to figuring out, because you know the theme, right? You know
Mhm.
what you want the theme to be.
Exactly.
You're invested in it, and it's just then fine tuning to make it like a really fun and tweaky game.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I think, I mean, and also just, I'm sure self-publishing is a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I am in awe of, because it's just been you,
Mhm.
really. Like, I know, I guess you're the person who I know the process the most of,
Mhm.
and I don't even know, like, half of the like, there's so much work, and, like,
Yeah.
one person doing, and a lot of, like, self-publishing on Kickstarter, that's what it is, like a one person or
Mhm.
two person team, right? Like, so I say pitch it, because I don't want you to
Yeah.
have to go through that sort of, like, labor.
Yeah,
right?
but at the same
consistent
time, I
labor.
think once you've published one game,
Yeah,
it's a lot easier the next time,
right. Because you worked through the kinks.
yeah, and because I've already got partners set up, distribution partners,
Right.
like I've already got a manufacturer that I know is
Right.
high quality and
Right.
delivered. Of
That's
course,
true.
yeah.
You have those connections.
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of the labor is
Yeah,
because you had to find all those and source those and test to
and
make
that
sure.
was the tricky part, and
Right.
kind of the unknown that you had. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. But then you look at costs going up for logistics, and
Right.
so there are also factors that's like maybe I go to like a bigger company that can
Right.
publish this because they will probably sell a lot more copies than I would.
Right. And then on the logistics side,
Yeah.
it's easier to charge less for shipping or get it out in retail and
Exactly.
like have the brunt of that, like, be on the local game store and not.
Hmm. Well, yeah, mostly just the cost, like the economics of
Yeah.
it, just being able to.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference between printing 500 copies and printing 5,000
Yeah.
copies.
Yeah.
In
Absolutely.
the unit cost. So,
Right.
Yeah.
How many copies? We'll start. We'll
Mhm.
transition over to Vigilante. I'll
Yeah,
start opening Vigilante.
absolutely.
The hidden factions, hidden motives.
Mhm.
How many copies of Vigilante did you? What was your print run?
So I only made 500 of them.
500. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so I guess hopefully we'll see with hidden motives.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to print at least probably another 1,000,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's been out a bit in
Mhm.
the world. It was cool. You posted, as you all know, I've been doing some work for World Series of Board Gaming,
Mhm.
and then I see Reed posting on Facebook being like, oh, it was the World Series, and one of the vendors there, and
Yeah, Shiba Games. Yeah.
Shiba Games
Yeah.
had Vigilante like front and center on their and like unprompted, like you
Yeah.
didn't know this.
Yeah, that's great.
They
Somebody
had
messaged me about it, and I was like,
yeah.
that's really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's got to be
Mhm.
cool to see, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
seeing
great
it
to
like
see, yeah.
pop up on in different places, but
Mhm.
just the stores that have picked it up and are selling it, like
Mhm.
that was really neat. And it was just cool that like I was there. I didn't get to the exhibitor hall like at all because I was running
You
behind
were
the
too
scenes.
busy, yeah.
I was very, so I didn't even see it. And so I was so thrilled that you posted about it because then I was like, oh, that's amazing. I wish I'd known, so I could have gone over and been like, hey. Yeah. Okay. So then we're on to Vigilante hidden motives, and this is almost
Like 95% done.
95% done, right?
Like a couple balancing things maybe still, but
Yeah. But I mean, looking at the I was expecting there to be like a difference in quality. There isn't because you're just doing it all through the same.
it's all
like,
through Game Crafter.
all through
Yeah.
Game Crafter, and they're
for sure.
doing they're doing I forget what I was going to say. I got sidetracked by the
Print on
by
demand,
pieces.
yeah.
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 I was going to ask you. Oh, that's what I was going to say. How much
Mhm.
did these cost in terms of, or like average cost
So
of like printing something?
probably each of these games were probably about 40 US, somewhere around there. So not too bad. I mean, they're all kind of smaller games. I think probably this Creature Capers was a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
because of the amount of cards and foil and all of that.
Yeah.
But,
because of foil too, right?
yeah.
Well, and because they're much more expensive
Mm-hmm.
than you would get them normally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
one-off thing that they have to custom make.
Yeah, and they do like bulk printing,
Yeah.
which lowers the cost for sure. But yeah, I mean, if you're printing
Right,
like
you're just
5,000 of them, then generally, like if there's a lot of different components,
yeah.
that's when I would go to
Right,
to
right.
a like a
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Like I something I know, and especially in the review side of things,
Mhm.
is when you're sourcing people to review your game, it is not economical to print multiple copies of that game. Oftentimes, like you'll get a game and then you'll mail it to someone else, right?
Yeah.
Or at least like that's what my experience has been. It'll be like, hey, here's a prototype. Now mail it off to someone else, please, because we only have like 3 in circulation, and we're trying to like hit all these content creators who have agreed to do reviews on it. And that, yeah, so I can imagine like that's an additional cost, but it is worth it to you. You see the payoff immediately
Oh, yeah.
in terms of that feeling of theme. I feel right, which you've mentioned is important. Important to you, and honestly, it's starting to become more important to me as I cycle through, like I go through every single Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
And it's true, like people like up the game, and then everybody kind of has to get on the same level, or it's really difficult to even be noticed, right?
Yeah.
So do you find that that's another potential drawing factor?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think to get people to test the game, having art is helpful.
Yeah.
And
For
I
the
mean,
playtester. So I'm going to jump around to this camera
people that
again
you don't know. Yeah.
to showcase some more Vigilante.
Yeah, of course.
This sort of stuff as we go through. Just if you haven't seen the Art of Vigilante, I like the Art of Vigilante, and this is all commissioned.
Yes.
Commissioned art.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They're all artists.
Yeah. All different artists that you've worked with.
Yeah. So I've got a couple new artists that I worked with for this, and a couple of the older artists from the base game.
Cool.
Yeah. The front card you can see is it's a frame break, which is kind of cool.
Which
the very front
this one?
card.
This
Yeah.
one?
So you can see his head is kind of coming out of the,
right. Yeah. Oh, that is cool.
So that's an artist that I worked with in Quebec actually.
That is cool. Yeah. I didn't even clock that. Like, but it's cool. That's the cool factor,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like it's a subtle thing that just like adds to the cool factor.
So with hidden motives, I mean, there's some new scenarios. There's one where you actually get 3. Oh yeah,
that's my favorite.
Yes,
this is my favorite piece of art. We're just like, yeah. I like that one anyway, for reasons that of the full picture that will not be mentioned. Yeah, I sorry, I derailed us with that. Oh, I like this too. Last hope.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and that's Captain Judgment flying to save him, which is it's a hero from the base game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then these are the layers.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So the layers are these. This is what's
new.
The newest thing about this.
New. Like this is just additional content that you can throw in, right? Which
and the scenarios are new too. They're new ways to play the game. As are the scenarios, and the layers are probably the biggest changes to the game. Whereas a lot of the characters that are added in add a lot of fun abilities. There's a lot of new mercenaries.
Cool.
There were only about 6 mercenaries, I think, in the base game.
Yeah.
So adds a lot more variety of what you can do. But yeah, these are the layers.
Cool.
And
yeah, I'm gonna go back to the
layers are a lot of fun because they're asymmetric abilities that everybody gets a unique one.
Do you get them at the beginning of the game?
You get them at the beginning of the game.
Cool.
You actually get 2, and you get to pick which one you want.
Great. Love that.
And each player has also a unique action on them.
Cool. Oh, so this little little lightning bolt symbol, because the lightning bolts represent your actions.
Exactly.
In Vigilante.
I don't know if you see Falafel Town there, but
I literally, as you said it, it literally came up. That's so funny. Falafel Town.
I think it's my favorite because it's like just a superhero throwing falafel balls.
That's funny. That's why I like Vigilante, because it's just silly, but it's good silly, you know. it's like it's serious silly. That's what I
Yes.
think it is. It's
Yes, for sure.
you know, that's the best way for me to describe it. Yeah, that's cool. I'm
Mhm.
excited about I'm excited to try those out.
Mhm.
The one-time abilities as layers. I remembered you mentioned. I think when
Mhm.
we way back when I played it with Brandon and Zach.
Mhm.
Zach was like, "Oh yeah," like we all really enjoyed it,
Mhm.
and Zach was like, because we always talk about like, "Oh yeah, like what where does it go from here?" It's
Mhm.
like, "Oh maybe there was like special hideouts," and I remember being like, "Oh that's a cool idea," and I texted you, you're like, "Oh yeah, I've actually like been working on it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be an expansion, like it's not ready for the base game,
Mhm.
but like." Yeah, that's something that obviously I'm working on. I was like, oh, look at that! This dumb never thought of it, but that smart did.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's there's a lot of cool things. I will say like with story mode, that's the next expansion, which is
mhm.
standalone. That's fully cooperative. You played that,
Yeah,
um, and
early stages.
early.
Yeah.
It's come a long way. But there's also a lot of other cool ideas that have been suggested to me. I mean, the idea of having like heroes that have certain villains they need to beat, and they get
Oh,
like
extra.
level up or like get abilities if they beat that villain,
That's cool.
which is tough when you've got so many cards.
Yeah,
But it was an interesting
it's
it's an
interesting.
interesting
Yeah,
thought.
it'd be hard to implement
Yeah,
because
there's like so much
there's
variety.
so much variety, and especially like with more cards.
Hmm.
I think that's good. This sort of game you want that the more
Hmm.
card. Those are my favorite expansions. I
Yeah,
think are like more of what you like with little tweaks. I'm very
yeah.
excited of new scenarios because I think the scenarios for those of you who don't know, like you can
Hmm.
check out the Vigilante video, and I will obviously be covering hidden motives in a completely non-biased way. I have no stake in it whatsoever. Well, no stake. Well, I don't have any stake, but
Yeah,
I mean, like we're friends, so
yeah.
you know. But I am excited to try the additional scenarios
Hmm.
because of mixing up what happens. So Vigilante, you get a
Hmm.
hidden role. You're either good, bad, or chaotic neutral with
Hmm.
your own win condition, and then you have to take down a number of villains.
Hmm.
And the good team wants to have a bunch of villains in their jail
Hmm.
because then the villains are jailed. The bad team wants to have a number of villains in their jail
Hmm.
because then they're not in the hero's jail. They can just let them out. And
Yeah.
then the neutral people want their own thing to happen, right? But it's all about this building up your team of superheroes
Hmm.
and taking down villains as sort of kind of as quickly as you
Yeah.
can, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's
Um,
there's definitely a rush factor because the villains are layered. So you fight the easiest villains at the
yeah,
beginning. So if the evil players fight villains early on, then the good players are going to have to fight harder villains that are going to damage their team more.
yeah.
Potentially, they're going to lose some heroes and not be
Right.
able to beat these villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly the level ones, you're like, I want to scoop all of those up
Yeah,
as
for
quickly
sure.
as possible because it is
Level
very
one.
hard to go once you go from when you get to level 2.
Yeah.
I know that's always me, but everybody has the sort of incentive to do it. And then you also can use items to help each other
Mhm.
do stuff, right?
Exactly.
So kind of, we just played Dark Moon like a couple weekends ago.
Mhm.
This is my first time playing Dark Moon. I'm just drawing the parallel now
Mhm.
of like, oh yeah, I could do something, or I can help you do something and you can do it a bit more efficiently
Mhm.
if you're on my same team, right? So
Exactly.
I kind of like that flow sort of being built into this because it gives that forced cooperation,
Mhm.
or not forced cooperation, but like if you want to be efficient
Mhm.
and you want your team to succeed, you got to figure out who's on your team
Oh yeah.
in order to like let them succeed.
And I've given Evil a couple more tools with this game.
Oh yeah, nice.
So, I mean, there's one card in there called Scavenge, where you can deal 3 damage to another player's hero, and then if they die, you steal their equipment,
Oh,
which is kind of fun.
that is fun. I would be using that as a hero or a villain.
Yes. Yeah, and then there's a catalog, so you can reveal cards from the top of the deck until you find a mercenary, and then
Cool.
just instantly play them.
Cool.
There's like different things like that that are.
Because mercenaries are one time, like
Mhm.
you purchase them. They're a hero category,
Mhm.
and you can buy heroes and add them to your team, or you can buy a mercenary and they give you like that one time ability. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's even a mercenary here that is just like a really garbage hero that you can give to your opponents.
Oh, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Like the fool in Everdell or something.
Yeah.
Have you played Everdell?
I haven't played
No?
Everdell.
Oh, you
No.
should play it. It's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
Well, I think we've worked our way through it. Obviously, I'll cover hidden motives in more detail when the Kickstarter launches. That'll
Mhm.
be at some point next year.
Yep.
This is pretty sweet. Now here's the real test. Well, I was gonna say which one would you burn first? Would you kill first? But you know what I mean, like or like marry.
So I'm gonna say, I mean, yeah, I would kill Step Off first.
No.
And I'm sorry.
No!
So this is the thing. So games, and I love all of these games.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Like,
Yeah,
like it's a
but
silly
things
question
that give me
because
satisfaction, like absolutely, I still love playing Vigilante.
Yeah,
I played hundreds of
you've
times,
played
and
it,
I
yeah.
still love it.
Yeah.
I like Creature Capers gives me that feeling of like going on that journey and like capturing things, because you have to try and capture cards to get to add them to your deck, and you can evolve them. You can like there's
You should just call it not Pokemon. But I think that you might run into some copyright
I think I would run into
issues.
some issues there.
Yeah, no,
but
totally.
you get that feeling, and then
you
Step Off it's like a fun party game, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
But
if you had to,
yeah,
yay. I get that too.
Yeah.
I think you and I our taste aligns somewhat. I think it branches too.
Yeah.
But I think it aligns in that like we like more in depth experiences than the lighter experiences.
Yeah, it definitely tapers off with Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Where I have good taste and you don't.
I actually have a prototype right now of a game where one of the characters in it is called Lorenzo Il Mediocro.
Oh, I think you told me that. Yeah, you texted that to me. I was like, how dare you? Yeah, that makes sense. I would, if you don't come near my Step Off. I'm taking this. I'm gonna steal this, and then I'm gonna tell Reed I'm covering Hidden Motives, and then I'm just gonna talk about Step Off, and he's gonna be like, you can't get it anywhere. You can't do it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Step off, baby. Awesome. Well, thank you, Reed, for showing us those sorts of stages, and this was fun. This was a fun. I don't know. I had fun.
Yeah, me too.
But now it's time to stop the fun, so we can go downstairs and get to more fun.
Oh, and clean up all this mess.
And clean up all this mess that we made. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I don't know the catchphrase. So.
Step off.
Step off. Step off. Get out of here. Step off.